So don't make. Okay. Can you open all the video, please? Can everybody open the video? 打開個 video 唔該，聽唔聽得到啊 ？Hello。Can you hear? video 唔該。iPhone 可以改一下名字。
Who can see what you see? 哎。Oh, it's mine. Huh? How come I don't wait? I don't know why my. Please turn on camera and display your full name.
六点，你听得到吗？6点，可不可以叫你果子？我看见你叫果子。
改名字了。
是啊，哦，好的，改嘞。
改名。Oh my god! No. Oh, good thing. Where's my?
This time I met Ruben. He looked me off getting cheated at an old dealer's game at Dale Ranch. They bought me breakfast. Sands was there. Desert Inn. Looked a lot smaller back then. Seemed pretty safe.
Okay. Still have another two. Haven't turned on that camera. Can you please turn it on? Okay, let's start. Thank you everybody for being. So my name is Jiawen. Deliver this from ABC English Academy. And today's lesson is about English grammar. Let's start.
English grammar.
We talk about part is about the parts of speech. So you might know in the other English material, normally it's only 8 parts, but today we will talk about 9 parts of it. Let's start. First one, nouns. Nouns can be things, animals, or people like doctor, so real cat. Nouns can also be ideas or things like ideas, time or money. Second one is verbs.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hello. I have another two. Okay.
Huh?
So number 2, verbs can be action, run, laugh,
Okay.
and verbs can also describe states like love, believe, or understand. The third one we talk about is adjective. Adjectives describe nouns, for example, like red, big, metal, or beautiful. Fourth part of speech is adverbs. Adverbs can describe verbs, meaning they describe how someone does something. For example, like quickly, loudly, angrily, or well. Adverbs can also describe adjectives.
You have to go out.
Huh?
What time you have to go out?
I don't know.
For examples like
I have never found myself talking directly. What time do you have?
very
I understand. You're just accustomed.
adjective
Engaged.
or an adverb.
So direct to. I don't know how to.
In my book,
Going to mute.
this establishment is aces. Huh? Aces? That's good. The ace of diamonds. I hope.
For example, really, they mix the trade and to their own wedding. Sometimes, I wish I'd make different choices in life. So adverbs are a little more complicated.
Okay, go by the main elevator shaft.
So here's a good way to remember it. Adjectives and adverbs both describe other words. They are both used to add information to something else. Adjectives describe nouns and adverbs describes everything else like verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and whole sentences. I hope this is easier for you to remember. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5, the fifth part is pronouns. Pronouns replace or represent nouns. For example, like I, you, she, or they are pronouns which represent different people. You use pronouns to avoid repeating the same word or to refer to something when it's obvious what you mean. For example, like, how was the weather there? There is a pronoun which refers to a place. If you've already mentioned the place you're talking about, you don't need to say it again. Another example is, give me 2, please. 2 is a pronoun which refers to a quantity of something which has already been mentioned. The person you are talking to already know what you are talking about. Let's see the 6. Number 6 is prepositions. Prepositions usually go before a noun or noun phrase. What is their job? Prepositions can do 2 basic things. First, they can add an idea of time, place, or movements to a noun. For example, like on Wednesday, in the corner, towards the door. Secondly, prepositions can connect other words to a noun or a pronoun. For example, think about the verb depends on. The preposition on connects the verb depends to the object of the verb. It depends on the cost. Usually the noun and the noun phrase goes after the preposition. However, sometimes the preposition can link to a noun or pronoun. Earlier in the sentence, for example, what does it depends on? Here on links is to the pronouns what. What does it depends on? 7 is conjunctions. Conjunctions connect 2 things. A conjunction can connect 2 words like I like cake and ice cream. A conjunction can connect 2 phrases. Although I've been trying to learn for years, I'm still really bad at drawing. Anyone know which is the conjunction word in this sentence?
Although.
Means to name it.
Although.
Yes, although is the conjunction here to linking two phrases together. Well, actually it's two sentences. This is I am still really bad at drawing. This is a complete sentence, simple sentence. And this is another one I've been trying to learn for years. Okay, great. Number 8 is determiners. Determiners go before a noun. They include words like the, these, or that, which help to specify which noun you are talking about. Words like my, your, his, her, etc. are also determinants. They specify which noun you are talking about by saying who something belongs to. Determinants can also tell you how many of something there are. Look at 3 examples here. 10 bananas, some people, both of my brothers. Sylvia, can you tell which words are determinants?
I think it's 10
Yes.
and some and both.
Thank you.
Is that
Yes.
right?
Correct. Thank you. So last one, last speech of part of speech is interjections. Interjections are different because they aren't normally part of a sentence. Interjections are words or phrases which show how you feel. For example, like, wow, crap, no way. So that is interjection. I think this is the one normally missing in the other English materials, that which is not talked about. So now you all know about the 9 parts of speech in English. Let's do some practice. Each sentence has 5 words here. They told me about it. Look in the big cupboard. Put it in there, but carefully. Can you identify which part of speech each word was? Think about your answer. I'll give you 1 minute. Everyone can answer it. What is this icon? Sam, can you name the first sentence?
They told me about it.
So, do you know what part of speech for each word?
No.
Anyone else can answer it? Okay. I'm going to ask Travis. One cow. Can you name it? Please. No. Okay, I will say the first one. It's a noun. Tell is a verb. Me is pronoun again. About is a preposition, following by pronouns it. They tell me about it. Let's see the second one. Minsu, could you please name their part of speech?
Look is verb, in is pronoun, the is
Determinant.
no in what is it?
Preposition.
Yeah, preposition, and the is a pronoun, big is a adverb, coupled is noun.
Okay. Yes, correct. Look, verb, preposition, there is determiner, fixed adjective, coupled is a noun. Third one, put it in there, but carefully. Put, verb, it's pronouns, in, preposition, there, pronoun again, but, conjunction, sorry, carefully, adverb. Okay. So some words can only be one thing. For example, the words like independence and hair can only be nouns. Believe and destroy can only be verbs. However, many words can be more than one part of speech. Let's see this example. I'm staying in this evening. Look in the big cupboard. The first thing is an adverb. It's describing how I say, when I say, yes, this evening. It's adding a description for it. Second thing is a preposition. It's describe more detailedly where I'm looking at it. So here has a preposition, in. So in the same words, there are two things happening here. First, a word can be two different things which have the same written form and the same pronunciation. Think about the word win here. Is it a noun or a verb? It can be both. Like the first one, for example, I'm sure they will win the game this weekend. Here is a verb, is an action here. We'll be hoping for a win in the big game this weekend. When we're saying this, a win, this turned out to be a noun. Let's see another example, red. We use it all the time. What do you think about this red for the kitchen? The red here is a noun. It replaces a thing that is in red color, but you're not sure what is the thing is. It's just red color. The second one is an adjective. We know the thing is top. We want to describe more. To specify is a red color. So red top, it turns out to be an adjective. Okay, let's move on to another things about parts of speech. Compound parts of speech. Very often, a word with one written form can be two or more different parts of speech. I just told you there are two things happening here. What is the other? Sometimes a word can be different parts of speech depending on its function in the sentence. Look at these two sentences. Oh, I jump off another one. No. Okay, it's one slide. Just give me a second. Okay, I'll give you another example. I have a few photos of my grandparents. I didn't show it here. I have a few photos of my grandparents. Another sentence is, sure, you can have a fill. Here is the question, what part of speech is feel? In the first sentence, feel is a determiner. It tells us how many photos you have. This makes it a determinant. In the second sentence, feel is a pronoun. Now in context, you will not understand what the person means when you say, sure, you can have a feel. You don't know what is this. It might be a few biscuits or a few pieces of paper. We do not know, but you do know is that few replaces a noun, which makes it as a pronoun. Okay. Let's see the compound parts of speech in English. Until now, you've been seeing only single words and how single words can be nouns, verbs, etc. However, when you're thinking about parts of speech, you can't just think about single words. Phrases can also be nouns, verbs, adjectives, and so on. Let's do this example. Add a small spoonful of brown sugar. Then turn the heat down and stir the mixture gently. Think about the first part of this sentence. Add a small spoonful of brown sugar. What part of speech do we have here? Well, of course, you can go through it word by word. I can say like add is a verb, is a determiner, small is an adjective, spoonful is an adverb, and so on. But it's not the most useful way of looking at it. It's too complicated and it's no use for you to learn English. You're not doing that way. It makes more sense to see this as a verb and a noun. A small spoonful of brown sugar. Add, we look as a verb. A small spoonful of brown sugar. This phrase, we can see is a compound part of speech. This actually functioning as a noun. Okay. The noun is made of several past speech determiners, adjectives, preposition, and nouns. But together they have only one meaning, one to show, which is noun. It's a small spoonful. Okay. You can analyze the sentence in several different layers, so you can see a small spoonful of brown sugar as 60 individual words. You can also see it's in 3 parts, which is the determiner, like a small spoonful, and a preposition, which is an of, and a compound noun, brown sugar. Okay, let's look at the rest of the sentence. Then, turn the heat down and stir the mixture gently. Again, you can also doing word by word, but it not really makes sense and there's no improvement for your English grammar. We can break it down to 4 parts. 10 is a conjunction to linking the first phrase. Turn the heat down is a verb. Turn what down? The heat. Another conjunction, and, to linking these 2 little phrases here. Another verb, stir the mixture. How? Gently. It's an adverb to describe how to mix it. But in the whole sentence, the main idea is talking about the stir is a verb phrase. Well, when you think about part of speech, you can't just memorize the information. You have to look at each sentence individually and think about what each word is doing. It is too confused and there is no good for an English learner. Sentences aren't abstract phrases. It refers to real people, real things, and real actions are always more than one way to analyze the part of speech in a sentence. Choose the way that makes sense based on what the sentence is telling you about in the real life. Next one, we will talk about more other grammar terms. For analyzing grammar and syntax. For those who don't know what syntax means, it means the structure of sentence, how the grammar learned in the sentence, that what we call is syntax. The first grammar terms we talk about is helping verbs. We see it very often. Am, be, is, are, was, were, being, been, has, have, had, do, does, did, can, will, shall, should, could, would, may, might, must. These are all helping verbs and is also known as auxiliaries. It's always precedes main verbs. I am singing. For example, you should think before you speak. The driver had fallen asleep. Another grammar term is direct object. A word or word group that receives the action of the verb. Simple one. He read the book. Directly, this action read is to the objects, the book. She threw the ball. Very directly doing it, very straightforward. And in contrast, it's indirect objects, which is a noun or pronoun that names to whom or for whom the actions is done. For example, face gives us look. So here, us is not the object. Object is looks. My boss threw me a curve. Again, the object is curve, which is threw a curve to me. When the preposition is implied but not state, the preposition here is the to. The indirect object is hidden, as in example above. So object is curve, not me. Another example here. He gave her the book. It means he gave the book to her. Next grammar term is modifier. This is a word, phrase, or clause that describes or qualifies the meaning of the word, which is include adjectives, adverbs, prepositional phrases, participial phrases. Okay. Some infinitive phrases and clauses. Problems arise with dangling modifiers where the agent of the action is not very clear. Let's see the example here. Opening the window to let out a fly. The car swerved into an oncoming car. The full sentence structure is only the car swerved into an oncoming car. Opening here in the word is just more description on it. So which is the modifier? Make your sentence more abundant, but it's not necessary. Another example. After seminary training, women's access to the pulpits has often been denied. Same thing happened here. We don't need this one. The sentence still makes sense. But when we edit it, you're giving more information to your listener. Just a reminder, the class going to end in 8 minutes, and please pop it back because there's a time limit in the Zoom. So when you've been popped out, please come back to the class to finish it, please. Okay, next one is active and passive voice. I will do it a little bit faster. When a verb is in the active voice, the subject of the sentence performs the action. In the passive voice, the subject receives the action. The passive voice can be generally boring, like the situation will be taken care of, a decision was reached. So a lot of people doesn't like to have the passive voice in the writing, so we should avoid it, especially in the formal writing, we should avoid it. So the student attended class is the active voice. The class was attended by the students is a passive voice. Next one, gerund. We're using it very often. A verb form ending in ing and used as a noun. Example, all that laughing made me cry. Running can be good for you. Participle is a word derived from a verb and having the qualities of both a verb and an adjective. Never used as a noun. Example like present participles end in ing, like I'm rushing. Past participles in ed is I was rushed. Okay. Split infinitives. This one is also many English user doesn't like it happens in the formal writing because it making confused and redundant. It's too much. When a modifier appears between its two parts, like to or thing, to carefully think, an infinitive is said to be split. If the split infinitive is awkward, moves the modifier to another position in the sentence. For example, not her. The jury was instructed to carefully review the evidence. So you should avoid it when you're doing formal writing. Don't put the carefully in here, unless you think it's necessary, which is changing the sentence meaning. Next one, positive, comparative, and superlative. Most adjectives and adverbs have three forms: the positive, the comparative, and the superlative. Example, is it good, better, fast? Careful, more careful, most careful. Conjugation, subject joined by end. Compound subject joined by ends are nearly always plural. Like here, two phrases joined together. Maria's natural ability and her love of music have led her to a singing career. Subjects joined by or nor. With or nor, make the verb agree with the part of the subjects near the verb. If a relative or a neighbor is abusing a child, call the police. So when you're using or nor, this normally is singular, using is. Okay, let's see another more verbs, another grammar terms, which is the moves in English. Give me a rest. First one is indicative, which is used for facts, opinions, and questions. For example, Chicago is in Illinois. Illinois. The imperative is used for orders or advice. Like, for example, stop talking, go to class. Another one which is subjective is used for wishes, conditions contrary to facts, and requests or recommendations. So use the subjunction move for wishes and if clauses expressing condition contrary to facts, the subjunctive in such cases is the past tense form of the verb. In the case of be, it is always were, not was. Even if the subject is singular, we wish that Kenneth drove to school every day. Drove is past tense of drive. When we're using subjunctive, remember use past tense. If I were a member of President Bush's cabinet, he is have contrary to fact, which is I'm not. Since I'm not a member of his cabinet, so if I would get a new attorney general. Were is past tense of am here. Not using was here. We're using plural. Okay. Use the subjective mood in the clauses following verbs such as ask, insist, recommend, and request. The subjective is, in such cases, is the base form of the verb. Okay. Another very important grammar terms, and I think a lot of students still struggle on it, is the verb tenses. Let's quickly go through it. Simple present. For habitual action in present, she walks to the store. General timeless truths like I smell quickly in the summer. The narrative presents like mighty Casey strikes out. Present progressive, action in progress. Action in progress, he's going to tell her now. A temporary present activity. For example, I'm studying English at Loyola. Repeated ongoing action, he is always doing that. Simple past. Definite completed action. She walked to the store. Habitual action in the past. He visits his father every day. A situation in the past now complete. Victoria died in 1901. Past progressive. An action at a specific point in the past. She was walking to the store at 9 this morning. Past action simultaneous with some past event. He was talking on the phone when the storm struck. Repeated action in the ongoing past, like Sam was walking or during the lecture. Simple future, action in future time. She will go tomorrow. A future habitual action or future state. You will study harder next year. A present situation that will obtain in the future with some termination in sight. He will live on campus until he graduates.